The containment pod arrived at Research Station on a Tuesday morning. Dr. Hand stood in the docking bay with her arms crossed, watching as the heavy metal cylinder was lowered onto the platform. The pod was scratched and dented. Someone had painted a red warning symbol on the side. Dangerous cargo. Captain stood beside her. He was a tall man with at his temples and tired eyes. "You sure about this?" he asked. Nodded, "I'm sure. It's a predator species, a child, yes, but still a predator." His voice was calm but worried. "They are apex hunters. Their claws can cut through steel. Their bite force can crush bone." "I know what they are," said softly. She had read every file about them. She knew about their high gravity. She knew about their chitinous armor plates that changed color based on threat levels. She knew they were obligate carnivores who saw emotions as weakness. And she knew this particular was only 8 years old by human standards and had watched their entire colony ship explode 3 months ago. The pod opened with a hiss of pressurized air. Cold mist rolled out across the floor. Inside, in the far corner, something moved. Took a step forward, caught her arm. "Let security check first." "No," pulled free gently. "That's the problem. Everyone treats them like a weapon, not a child." She walked to the pod entrance and stopped. Her eyes adjusted to the dim light inside. There, pressed into the corner with their body coiled tight, was. The cub was small, maybe 4 feet tall if they stood up straight. Their body was covered in overlapping armor plates, each one about the size of his palm. The plates were completely black, matte black, the color of total defense mode according to the files. His head was lowered but could see the ridge of spines along their spine standing straight up. 4 arms were tucked close to their body. She could just see the tips of retracted claws. "Hello," said quietly. She didn't move closer. "My name is, I work here at the station. You're safe now." The cub didn't respond, didn't move. The only sign they were alive was the slow rise and fall of their breathing. Crouched down slowly, making herself smaller, less threatening. "I'm going to sit here for a while, okay? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to talk or move or look at me. Just letting you know I'm here." She sat down cross-legged right there at the entrance of the pod. Behind her she heard Sci, but he didn't stop her. She pulled out her data tablet and started reading through reports. Station maintenance logs, supply inventories, nothing important. She just read quietly, her voice a low murmur in the cold space. Minutes passed, then an hour. His legs started to ache, but she didn't move. She kept reading, occasionally glancing up at. The cub remained frozen in the corner. Dr. Park arrived during the second hour. She was colleague with sharp eyes and practical manner. "Any change?" she whispered. "No," said, "but that's okay. This is day 1. Crouched beside her. "The council observers are already asking questions. They want to know if you can really integrate a predator species. Especially, their culture doesn't even have a concept of adoption or fostering." "Then we'll teach them," said simply. Looked at the small figure in the corner. For a moment her expression softened. "You see your brother in them, don't you?" His hand tightened on her tablet. Her younger brother Minu had died 5 years ago in a terraforming accident. He had been 12. She didn't talk about it much. "Maybe," she admitted. "But this isn't about replacing Minu. This is about, they deserve a chance." "The galactic protocols say juveniles can't be returned to their own species after traumatic separation," said. "Their people would kill them. They see trauma as contamination, as weakness. That's barbaric. That's their culture." Stood up. "I'll tell the observers you're making initial contact. Take your time." After left, continued sitting. She switched from reading reports to reading a novel. It was an old Earth story about a garden and children. She read it aloud, her voice gentle in the darkness. She didn't expect to understand the words. The translation device she wore would convert her speech to language, but the cub showed no signs of listening. That was fine. This wasn't about communication yet. This was about presence, about showing that someone was here and wasn't going to hurt them. 3 hours after arriving, finally stood up. Her legs were stiff and her back ached. "I'm going to go now," she said, "but I'll come back tomorrow, same time. I'll bring some food for you. The station prepared the nutrition paste your species needs. I hope it tastes okay." She paused at the doorway. "You don't have to be brave right now. You don't have to be strong. You just have to survive, that's enough." As she turned to leave, she saw it, just for a second. The black plates on its back flickered. They shifted from matte black to a slightly lighter shade, dark charcoal, then they went black again. It was the first sign of response. Heart squeezed in her chest, but she kept her face calm. She left the docking bay quietly. Was waiting outside. "Well, it's going to take time," said, but they responded just a little, a color shift. "From black to what?" "Dark." Nodded slowly. "According to the files is, what? Reduced threat assessment." "Maybe," said, "or maybe just awareness. Acknowledgement that I was there, that I spoke, that I left without hurting them." Over the next 2 weeks, visited every day. She sat at the entrance of the pod for 3 hours each visit. She read books aloud. She talked about her day. She described Earth and the station and the stars outside. She never asked to respond. She never tried to touch them or move closer. Sometimes other station personnel would pass by. Plates would lock back to full black whenever someone else appeared, but when was alone with them, the plates would slowly shift to dark. It became a pattern, black with others, with. On day 16, arrived to find that had moved. Not much, just a few feet closer to the pod entrance. Still in shadows, still coiled defensively, but closer. "Good morning," said, sitting in her usual spot. "I brought a new book today. It's about the ocean. We have these massive bodies of water on Earth. I grew up near one. The sound of waves was my favorite thing." She opened the book and began reading. Halfway through the first chapter, she heard it, a small sound, a clicking noise. She looked up slowly. Was looking at her, actually looking at her. The cub's eyes were large and golden with vertical pupils, predator eyes, but in them didn't see hunger or violence. She saw fear, confusion, and something else, something that might have been curiosity. "Hi there," said softly, her heart racing. She didn't move, didn't reach out, just held gaze. "I see you." The clicking came again. The translation device on its collar activated. The voice was mechanical but quiet. "Why? No fear." Took a slow breath. "Because you're a child who's been hurt, not a monster. You're not a monster." The armor plates flickered, black too, to something else. A dark blue that spread across several plates before fading back to. Blue was confusion, curiosity, according to the files. An emotion adults had bred out of themselves, but children still felt it, if they were allowed. "You're safe here," whispered, "I promise." Stared at her for a long moment. Then slowly, very slowly, they lowered their head, not in submission, in acknowledgement. The plate stayed. Smiled. It was a beginning. 6 weeks had passed since arrived at the station. Stood outside the modified residential quarters and pressed her palm against the entry panel. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the lights were dimmed to the level preferred. The gravity plating had been increased to match their conditions. The furniture was all reinforced steel because children were strong, even when they were scared. Sat in the corner near the thermal regulator. Their body was still coiled in a defensive position, but not as tight as before. The armor plates were charcoal. They had been for 3 days straight now. That was progress. "Morning," said. She carried a tray with a covered dish. "I brought breakfast. The kitchen staff said they got the temperature right this time, hot enough for your metabolism." She set the tray on the floor and sat down against the opposite wall, far enough away to not be threatening, close enough to be present. She had learned this distance by trial and error. Too close and plates would darken, too far and they wouldn't eat. Watched her for a moment. Then they uncoiled slightly and reached for the dish. Their movements were careful, controlled. 4 arms working together to lift the cover and bring the food to their mouth. Didn't have lips like humans. Their jaw structure was different, more angular, built for tearing meat. Pulled out her tablet and started working on reports. She had learned not to watch eat directly. Being watched made them uncomfortable, so she worked on other things. Checked messages, read research papers, just existed in the same space. Station maintenance found a coolant leak yesterday, said conversationally. Nothing serious, but they had to seal off Section C for a few hours. Made everyone grumpy because it messed up the foot traffic patterns. She didn't expect a response, rarely spoke. The cub would make clicking sounds sometimes, ask brief questions through the translator, but mostly they stayed silent. That was okay, could talk enough for both of them. Oh, and brought her partner to visit last week. Remember I mentioned her, is my friend. Her partner is named, he works in engineering. He made her laugh so hard she snorted. It was adorable. Glanced up, had finished eating and was looking at her, head tilted slightly. Laughing is something humans do when we're happy, explained. Or sometimes when something is funny. It's a good sound, shows joy. Clicking voice came through the translator. Joy is permitted. The question made's chest ache. Yes, sweetheart, joy is always permitted. You're allowed to feel happy. The plates flickered briefly to dark blue, confusing curiosity, then back to looked down at their own arms. Do not express this. Maybe adult don't, said gently. But you're not an adult yet. You're a child. Children of every species feel things strongly. That's normal, that's healthy. Was quiet for a long time. Then, my sire unit said feelings make prey, feelings make weak. Your sire unit was wrong, kept her voice calm but firm. Feelings make us alive. They help us connect to each other. They help us know when something is wrong or right. Without feelings, we're just machines. Another long silence. Went back to her tablet, giving time to think. An hour later, there was an incident. The station-wide alert system activated. Nothing serious, just a minor coolant leak in a different section. The alarm was loud, sudden. Stood up quickly, checking her communicator for details. She didn't see move. Suddenly the cub was between her and the door. Their armor plates were spiked outward, forming defensive angles. Their forearms were spread wide, claws extended. The plates had shifted to orange-red, threat response, protection mode. Froze, her heart hammered, but she kept her breathing steady. She said softly, "It's okay. It's just an alarm, a false alarm. Nothing is wrong." His head swiveled to look at her. The golden eyes were wide, focused. The translator clicked, "Danger, protect." Understanding hit like a wave. Wasn't threatening her, was protecting her. The cub had positioned themselves between and the perceived threat, acting on instinct, on training, on something deeper than words. "Thank you," said quietly. She crouched down slowly, making herself smaller, less of a target to protect. "Thank you for protecting me. That was very brave, but we're safe. I promise." Look, the alarm stopped. The alert had indeed ended. The lights returned to normal. Plates slowly retracted their spikes. The color shifted from orange-red back to, but the cub didn't move away from the door. "You protected me," repeated, "and I appreciate it, but you're safe too. Nothing here will hurt you. You don't have to guard the door. You can relax." Translator clicked rapidly. Protocol demands protection of pack." Pack? Eyes widened, didn't have packs. They were solitary hunters. Saying someone was pack was significant. "Am I your pack?" Plates flickered between and blue. "You provide food, provide shelter, provide presence. This is pack behavior, yes." Felt tears prick her eyes, but she blinked them away. Crying would confuse. "Yes," she said softly. "Yes, that's pack behavior. I'm honored to be your pack." The plates shifted fully to blue for almost 5 seconds, the longest emotion display had seen. Then back to, slowly moved away from the door and returned to their corner, but their body was less coiled now, more relaxed. Progress. 2 weeks later brought something new to the quarters. She carried a box with 2 items inside. Enrichment tools, she explained too. Every intelligent species needs mental stimulation. I brought options. She pulled out the first item. It was a hunting simulator, a small device that projected holographic prey animals. The user had to track and capture them using coordination and strategy. This is species appropriate, said. The second item was simpler, a human puzzle cube, colorful blocks that twisted and turned. The goal was to match all the colors on each side. This is just a toy, admitted, but I thought variety might help. Took both items. After left, she showed them too. The cub examined the hunting simulator with clear interest. Their claws tapped the controls expertly. Within minutes, they had captured 3 holographic prey animals. Their movements were precise, efficient, beautiful in their own way. Then stopped. They looked at the second item. What is this? It's a puzzle, said. She demonstrated, twisting the cube. You try to match the colors, it's not useful. It doesn't teach hunting or fighting, it's just fun, something to do because it's enjoyable. Picked up the cube carefully with 2 hands. They turned it slowly, then tried to twist it. The mechanism stuck. Plates darkened slightly. They tried again, still stuck. They pulled harder. Gently, said, you have to twist and turn at the same time here like this. She took the cube and showed the motion. It's tricky. I'm not very good at it either. Tried again. This time the cube moved, but the colors didn't match. They tried again, failed again. The plates were getting darker. Frustration. Claws extended slightly. It's okay to find things hard, said quickly. She sat down beside, not touching but close. Everything is hard when you first try it. That doesn't mean you're bad at it. It just means you're learning. Translator clicked. Failure is weakness. No, said firmly. Failure is learning. Want to try together. You work on that side, I'll work on this side. Hesitated, then nodded. They worked together, turning the cube back and forth, talked through the logic. If this blue goes here, then that red has to go there, which means. It took 20 minutes, but finally all the colors matched. The cube was solved, grinned. We did it. Stared at the solved cube. Their plates shifted. To blue, blue to a lighter blue, then to something had never seen before. A soft green color spread across several plates. The files said green was contentment, satisfaction, a feeling adults suppressed completely. Then made a sound, a high-pitched chirping trill. It lasted only a second, but it was distinct, different from the clicking translations, more organic, more natural. Breath caught. The translator identified it, juvenile laughter equivalent. You're happy, whispered, you're happy. The plates flickered between green and blue. The chirping sound came again, softer. Looked at their own reflection in the metal wall, seeing the colors. They touched their own armor, confused but not afraid. It's okay, said. It's okay to feel happy, it's okay to laugh, you're allowed. Looked at her, you permit this. I celebrate it, said, smiling. This is wonderful, this is you being a child, being yourself. The green faded back too, but it was a lighter now. Peaceful, held the puzzle cube carefully. Again, they asked. Laughed, yeah, again. They played for hours. 3 months into integration, Captain made a decision. Would be allowed into the station school for supervised sessions. Not full enrollment yet, just observation periods with younger children. Controlled contact. Was nervous about it, was nervous too. Their plates had been flickering between in darker shades all morning. What if they fear me? Asked through the translator. What if I react incorrectly? Then we'll handle it together, said. She was walking beside through the corridor. Other station personnel gave them space. Some stared, some looked away quickly. Plates darkened at each stare. Remember what we practiced. If you feel overwhelmed, you can ask to leave, using words, not claws. Words, not claws, repeated. It had become a mantra, something taught them for managing strong emotions. The education center was bright and colorful. Human children's artwork covered the walls. Pictures of Earth, of space, of families. Stopped at one picture. It showed stick figures holding hands. "What is this?" "A family," said. "That's what the child drew, see. 2 adults and 3 children all together." Plates shifted to blue. "Humans remain together beyond breeding cycles." "Yes, we raise our children for years. We stay connected even after they're grown. Family is. It's the people who care about you, who support you, who love you." "Love," said the word carefully. "This is emotion state." "It's the strongest one," said softly. "It's choosing to care about someone no matter what. It's wanting them to be happy and safe." Looked at her like Pac. "Like Pac," agreed, "but deeper." The classroom had 6 children present, all between ages 5 and 8. Human children. They sat in a circle on the floor with their teacher, a patient woman named Instructor Lee. When Anne entered, the children looked up with wide eyes. One little girl gasped, "They're so cool." Plates flickered. They didn't know how to process cool as a positive descriptor. Instructor Lee smiled. "Everyone, this is. They'll be visiting our class today. Remember we talked about making new friends feel welcome." A boy raised his hand. "Why do they have armor?" "Because species evolved on a different planet," Instructor Lee explained. "Their bodies adapted differently than ours. The armor keeps them safe, like how we wear jackets when it's cold but built into their body." "Can they talk?" another child asked. Translator clicked. "I can communicate, yes." The children giggled at the mechanical voice. Not mean giggles, just surprised ones. Plates shifted darker, gently touched arm. "They're not laughing at you. They're just not used to translators. It's new to them." One girl stood up. She was small, maybe 7 years old, with her hair in 2 braids. She walked right up to without fear. "I'm Bora," she said. "Do you want to see my drawing? I drew a spaceship." Looked down at the small human. Bora barely came up to their chest. She was smiling, completely unafraid. The armor plates flickered between in pale blue. Yes, I will observe your drawing." Bora grabbed lower right hand and tugged. "Come on, it's over here." Held her breath, physical contact, unexpected, uninvited. Instinct would be to pull away, to protect their space, but allowed themselves to be led. They walked slowly, carefully to where Bora's drawing lay on the table. The picture showed a crude spaceship with flames coming out the back. Stars scattered across the page. "See," Bora said proudly. "It's going to the Andromeda Galaxy. That's really far. My dad told me." "It is," Adequate said. Then, after a pause, "the propulsion flames are correctly positioned." Bora beamed. "You really think so?" "I do not provide false data," said seriously. "Your flames are accurate." And just like that, a friendship began. Over the next weeks, attended class 3 times per week. They were awkward with the children at first, too formal, too literal. When a boy asked if wanted to play tag, asked, "What is the strategic objective of this activity?" But slowly, gradually, learned. They learned that humans played for fun, not just for training. They learned that children asked a million questions not to challenge but to understand. They learned that Bora brought them drawings every session because that was how she showed friendship. Armor plates started showing lighter colors more often, pale around the children, sometimes blue. Once, when Bora showed them a joke from a book, the plates flickered to that soft green of contentment. Watched it all with quiet joy, took notes for her research. "Unprecedented socialization for a juvenile," she told. "The neuroplasticity we're seeing is remarkable." But not everyone was supportive. Ambassador and representative from the Galactic Council arrived on station for an evaluation. Was tall and thin with compound eyes and clicking mandibles. Their species valued order and protocol above all else. Met with in Captain's office. "You cannot prove rehabilitation through controlled scenarios," stated. Their voice was cold, mechanical. The cub has been conditioned to behave with you. With humans it knows, but instinct runs deeper than conditioning. Isn't conditioned, argued. They're learning, growing, healing. You assume trauma can be healed, said. You assume predators can be reformed. Both assumptions are dangerous. My report will recommend transfer to a rehabilitation facility. A prison, said flatly. Let's call it what it is. A necessary containment, corrected, for the safety of all. Felt anger rise in her chest. Is a child, not a weapon, not a threat. A child who has been through hell and is finally feeling safe enough to laugh, to play, to be happy. And you want to put them in a cage. I want to prevent future tragedy, said. They have a saying, the cub who cries becomes the predator who kills. Emotion makes them unstable. Your methods are creating instability. My methods are creating a healthy child, shot back. Just because they have bred emotions out of themselves doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean should be forced into that mold. His compound eyes glittered. They are watching this experiment. If the cub shows weakness, their own kind will reject them. If the cub shows violence, we will contain them. You are setting them up to fail either way. After Left sat down heavily, poured her a drink, water, she didn't touch it. They're going to take away, she said quietly. Unless I can prove, what? That a traumatized child can heal, that predators can feel emotions without becoming violent. How do I prove that to people who have already decided it's impossible? You keep doing what you're doing, said. You keep showing them who really is. That's all you can do. But doubt crept in. What if was right? What if was setting up for failure? The culture was so different from human culture. Maybe trying to teach human values was wrong. Maybe it was a form of harm, not help. That night sat within their quarters. The cub was working on a new puzzle, a harder one. Their armor plates were light, peaceful. Said slowly, do you ever miss your home, your people? His hands stilled on the puzzle. I remember the ship, I remember the others, but I do not miss them. They taught survival, they taught strength. They did not teach this. They gestured around the room, at the puzzles, at the drawings from Bora taped to the wall. What is this? Asked. Was quiet for a long moment. Safety, kindness, permission to feel. Their plates flickered to blue. The say feelings make weakness, but you say feelings make alive. I do not know which is truth. Both can be true, said carefully. Feelings can make us vulnerable, open to hurt, but they also make us capable of joy, love, connection. It's a trade, risk for reward. And you believe the reward is worth the risk. Thought about her brother, about Minu laughing in the rain, about how much it had hurt to lose him, about how she wouldn't trade those memories for anything. Yes, she said, I believe it's worth it. Return to the puzzle. They solved it quickly now. Muscle memory, pattern recognition. When it was complete, their plates shifted to that soft green. Content. Said, if the council takes me away, if I go to the facility, will you? They paused. The translator struggled with the emotion in their voice. Will you forget me? His heart broke. Never, she said firmly. She moved closer, close enough to touch. She had never touched without permission. But now she placed her hand on the cub's armored shoulder. Never, you're part of my pack, my family. I will fight for you with everything I have. His plates rippled, to blue to green, colors flowing across their body like water. I do not wish to leave. Then we'll make sure you don't have to, promised. She just hoped it was a promise she could keep. 5 months. That's how long had been at the station when everything changed. It started as a normal day. Attended the education center for a group session. 8 children present. Bora was there as always. She had brought another drawing to show. This one showed 2 figures holding hands. One human, one with armor plates. It's us, Bora said proudly, best friends. His plates had shifted to pale, almost white, a color rarely saw. It meant complete peace. Best friends, repeated. This is acceptable designation. The other children were working on art projects. An older boy was there too. He was 14. Usually he helped Instructor Lee with the younger kids, but today he seemed irritated, restless. Was showing Bora how to draw geometric patterns, the kind found in art. Their four hands moved precisely, creating interlocking shapes. Several children gathered to watch. "That's so cool," one boy said. "How do you draw with four hands?" "Coordination," explained. "Each hand has independent function but works toward unified goal, like musicians in orchestra. Showed me video of this." The children were impressed. They asked questions, answered patiently. The plate stayed pale, everything was fine. Then spoke. He was across the room talking to another older kid, but his voice carried. "My dad says this whole thing is stupid, letting a predator near kids. Says we're all in danger." The room went quiet. His hands stilled on the paper. The plates darkened slightly. "My dad works in security," continued. He was looking at now, direct, challenging. "He says you're just a ticking time bomb. Says predators like you killed people in the Sector 7 riots. Says it's only a matter of time before your instincts kick in and someone gets hurt." Instructor Lee stood up quickly. "That's enough. We don't speak like that here." But the damage was done. Plates were darkening to charcoal, charcoal to darker. The children nearest to them backed away nervously. "I mean, look at those claws," said. He wasn't being quiet now. He was angry about something, taking it out on the easiest target. "One wrong move and you could gut someone. That's what you are, right? A killer, just wearing a kid's face." The plates flashed red, threat response. Claws extended, all four hands, the blades were sharp and silver, lethal. The spikes along their spine rose up. Bora stepped between them, her small body directly in front of. "Stop it," she yelled at. "Wouldn't hurt anyone, they're nice. They're my friend." Looked down, saw Bora's small body, saw their own extended claws, the red plates, the defensive posture. They saw themselves as described them. A weapon, a killer, a predator in child's skin. They ran out of the classroom, down the corridor, moving fast on all fours. People scrambled out of their way, some screamed. Plates stayed red-black, panic response, threat mode. They didn't know where they were going, just away, away from the fear, away from the truth. They ended up in their quarters. The door locked behind them, coiled into the ball possible, all four arms wrapped around themselves, plates locked in black-red. The spikes fully extended, creating a barrier, a shell, protection from the outside world. Arrived 10 minutes later. She had been in a meeting when Instructor Lee called. She used her override code to open the door. Inside, the room was dark, was in the corner, a small, terrified ball of armor and spikes. Said softly, she sat down near the door, far away, giving space. "I heard what happened. Can I come closer?" The translator clicked weakly. "No, stay away. I am dangerous." "You're scared," corrected. "There's a difference." "I wanted to, I felt." The translator struggled with the emotion. "Anger, rage. I wanted to show him, show them all, make them fear me properly." "But you didn't," said. "You felt angry, that's okay. But you didn't act on it, you didn't hurt anyone. You ran instead. That took incredible strength." "I am weak." His voice was hollow. "Do not run, we fight, we dominate, we do not break like prey animals break." Slowly moved closer, inch by inch. "You're not breaking, you're feeling, you're processing. That's not weakness, that's being alive." The boy was right. The plates were so dark they seemed to absorb light. "I am time bomb, I am danger." My claws extended, my threat response activated. If Bora had not, if she had not stepped between. "But she did," said firmly. "She was close now, close enough to touch. And you stopped. You saw her and you stopped. You didn't hurt her, you would never hurt her." "You cannot know this." His voice cracked. The translator couldn't fully capture the anguish. "I cannot know this. What if one day what if the rage wins? What if I become what they all fear?" Reached out slowly and placed her hand on his armored back. The plates were hot, fever-hot stress response. Then we'll handle it together. But listen to me. You are not destined to be violent. You are not broken. You are not a monster. I am damaged, whispered. Contaminated. This is what my people would say. I feel too much. I want too much. I want to be good. I want Bora to not fear me. I want you to be proud. But these wants make me weak. Make me pray, make me wrong. Your people are wrong, said. Her voice was thick with emotion. Wanting to be good is not weakness. Caring about others is not wrong. You are one of the strongest people I know. Strong, the word came out bitter. I ran from words, from child's insult. I hid in corner like frightened prey. Where is strength in this? You felt hurt and you processed it without violence, said. You protected the children by removing yourself from the situation. You chose flight over fight even though every instinct probably told you to fight. That is strength. That is courage. That is growth. Slowly uncoiled, just a little, enough to look at, the golden eyes were dimmed, exhausted. I do not feel strong, I feel wrong inside, like parts of me are at war with each other. The part that wants to be, the part that wants to be, like you. You don't have to choose, said gently. You can be both. You can be and still feel emotions. You can have your culture and still show kindness. You're not betraying your species by being yourself. But what am I? Plates flickered. Red to black, black to blue, unstable, confused. Not fully, not human, something between, something wrong. Cup's face in her hands. The armor was cooling now, returning to normal temperature. She said. You're my kid. You're Bora's friend. You're brave and smart and learning to be gentle in a world that taught you only violence. You're not wrong. You're not broken. You're just growing. Growing, repeated. The plates shifted to deeper blue. This is painful process. The most painful, agreed. Her eyes were wet. Growing up is hard for every species, but especially hard when you're doing it alone, when you're different. I am not alone, said quietly. I have you. Always promised, always. They sat in silence for long moments. His breathing slowly steadied. The plates gradually lightened from blue to stroked the smooth armor gently. She had never been this tactile before, but now it felt right, necessary. The council will say this proves their point, said eventually. That I am unstable, that I should be contained. Let me worry about the council, said. You just focus on feeling better. Looked at her directly. If they take me, if the council decides I must go to facility, are you, the translator paused, searching for words. Are you proud of me, despite this failure? His heart broke and mended in the same moment. She pulled close. The cub was almost her size now, heavy and armored and dangerous by design, but also scared and young and desperately needing approval. Listen to me, said. Her voice was fierce, absolute. I am so proud of you, not despite what happened today, not despite your struggles. I am proud of you because of them, because you keep trying, because you keep choosing kindness even when it's hard, because you ran instead of fighting, because you care about Bora's opinion, because you want to be good. That wanting, that trying, that caring, that's what makes me proud. The room went completely silent. Even the soft hum of the station system seemed to fade, stared at with those wide golden eyes, processing, understanding. And then it happened. The armor plates began to shift. Black to blue, blue to violet, violet to something else, something new. The plates started to shimmer, iridescent, like oil on water, like butterfly wings, colors that didn't follow the standard emotional spectrum. Rainbow hues flowing across every plate, shifting, changing, beautiful. Gasped, pulled away to look at their own arms. The plates were glowing with impossible colors, purples blending to greens, greens to golds, golds to pinks, a cascade of light. What? Touched their own chest, felt the vibrating plates. What is happening? Stared in wonder. I don't know, but it's beautiful, you're beautiful. Stood up and ran to the reflective wall panel, saw themselves. The entire body was covered in shifting iridescent colors. No pattern, just constant flowing change. They touched their face, their arms, their chest. I do not understand. Neither do I, admitted. She stood beside, both of them staring at the reflection. But I think maybe you're changing, on a fundamental level. Your body is responding to emotions in new ways, ways your species has never seen before. The colors continued flowing, turned their hands over, watched the rainbow shimmer across their claws. Is this wrong? No, said firmly. She placed her hand on shoulder. In the reflection they looked like family, different species, different origins, but family nonetheless. This is growth. This is evolution. This is you becoming who you're meant to be. Looked at their reflection for a long time. The colors slowly stabilized, settled into a soft iridescent glow, quieter but still present. I am beautiful. The most beautiful, said, crying openly now. The most beautiful, brave, wonderful kid in the galaxy. Plates rippled with soft rainbow light. They leaned against, letting themselves be held. Thank you, they whispered, for seeing me. Always, whispered back, always. 2 weeks after the iridescence first appeared, the Galactic Council convened. Captain received the official summons. His fate would be decided at a formal hearing. Had 3 days to prepare. Those 3 days were chaos. Worked non-stop analyzing the iridescence. She ran scans, took samples, consulted with across the galaxy. Her findings were remarkable. His neural structure was changing. New pathways forming in their brain. Areas responsible for emotional processing and social bonding were growing, developing in ways biology had never shown before. It's unprecedented, told. The emotional exposure is literally rewiring their brain, creating new possibilities. They're not broken, they're evolving. Clutched the research data. Will the council see it that way? I don't know, admitted, but it's the truth, and truth has to count for something. Spent those days quietly. Their armor plates stayed mostly with occasional iridescent flickers. They visited Bora once. The little girl had been worried. When she saw, she ran up and hugged them. I'm sorry was mean, she said. He got in big trouble. His mom made him apologize to everyone. His plates shimmered softly. He spoke truth. I am dangerous. No, you're not, Bora said firmly. She grabbed hands, all 4 of them. You're my best friend. Best friends aren't dangerous. They're safe. Looked at their hands holding Bora's small ones. The contrast was stark. Armored claws against soft human skin, but gentle, careful, safe. Best friends, they repeated. The plates glowed soft pink. The day of the hearing arrived. It was held in the station's main conference room, broadcast to council representatives across the galaxy. Dressed carefully, professional but not cold. She needed to show competence and compassion. Wore a simple vest that had made, a human gesture, clothing as care. The room was cold, formal. A long table stretched across the front. 5 council members sat there, ambassador in the center. 2 humanoid representatives on either side, and at the end, connected via hologram, elder, the representative. Their plates were solid black, emotionless, cold. Captain sat beside, had a station set up with her research data, sat between them, small and quiet. Their plates were but the edges flickered with nervous iridescence. Ambassador called the session to order. We are here to determine the placement of juvenile designation. 3 options are presented. First, return to custody. Second, transfer to Sector 9 rehabilitation facility. Third, remain in human custody under Dr. Hand's guardianship. Elder spoke first. Their voice was harsh, clicking. The collective has reviewed this case. The juvenile is contaminated, ruined. We disown them. They are no longer our concern. Do with them as you will, but they are no longer. His plates darkened, reached over and took one of their hands, squeezed gently. The plates lightened slightly. Continued. The juvenile has shown extreme emotional instability. The recent incident with station children demonstrates this. Threat displays, claw extension, aggression markers, Furthermore, the biological anomaly, this iridescence, indicates system failure, malfunction, not growth. That's not true, stood up. My research shows. We have reviewed your research, Dr. Park interrupted. We find it optimistic, biased. You see evolution where we see degeneration. Stood with respect, Ambassador, you're wrong, has shown remarkable growth. Yes, they struggled. Yes, they experienced anger and fear, but they didn't act violently. They removed themselves from the situation. They chose safety over aggression. This time, said coldly. What about next time? What about when their instincts override their conditioning? What about when a child is hurt or killed because you believed in redemption over reality? Is not going to hurt anyone, said firmly. 6 months of observation, 0 incidents of violence, strong bonds with human children, educational progress, social integration, every metric shows success. Except biology, said. They pulled up an image on the main screen. Armor plates in full iridescence, rainbow colors flowing. This is not natural. This is system failure. They have maintained biological stability for. This juvenile's exposure to human emotional extremism has damaged their core function. Or expanded it, argued. The suppressed emotions through selective breeding. That doesn't mean emotions are wrong. It means they chose one evolutionary path, is showing us another path, one with emotional expression and social bonding. Weakness, Elder spat. This is why we disown them. They are not fit to carry our genetic line forward. Felt flinch beside her, she stood up fully. Then your genetic line is flawed. If strength means suppressing all feeling, all connection, all joy, then I don't want to be strong by your definition. I want them to be whole, complete, alive. Passionate words, said, but emotion is not argument. The question remains, can you guarantee this juvenile will not harm others? Can you guarantee any child won't make mistakes? Shot back. Human children get angry, they lash out, they struggle. That's part of growing up. We don't lock them away for being imperfect. We teach them, guide them, love them through it. Human children don't have claws that can pierce steel, said flatly. The room fell silent. It was a good point. A valid point, was dangerous by design. That couldn't be changed. Then stood up, slowly, carefully. Their translator clicked to life. May I speak? Looked surprised but nodded. The juvenile may address the council. Plates were flickering rapidly, to blue to violet to iridescent, cycling through emotions, fear, uncertainty, but also determination. They looked at each council member in turn. I am, said, this is truth. I have armor, I have claws, I have instincts that tell me to hunt, to dominate, to show no weakness. These are facts of my biology. Elder nodded, finally sense. But continued, I am also more than biology. I have learned this from humans, from Bora, from all who showed me kindness when I deserved none. I was broken thing, scared thing, angry thing, and they did not fear me. They did not cage me. They taught me. Plates shifted to soft iridescence. You ask if I am dangerous. Yes, I am. You ask if I could hurt someone. Yes, I could, but you ask wrong question. Right question is, will I? Will I choose violence over peace? Will I choose anger over connection? Will I choose instinct over choice? The cub looked directly at. An answer is no, I will not, because taught me that feelings are not weakness, that caring is strength, that choosing kindness when you could choose violence, that is truest strength of all. Pretty words, said, but when you are threatened, when you are afraid, your instincts will take over. Yes, agreed. My instincts will activate, my plates will darken, my claws will extend. This is automatic response. But here is what you do not understand. Humans also have automatic responses. They also feel fear and anger. They also have capacity for violence. But they choose differently. They taught me that space exists between feeling and action, that I can feel rage but not act on it, feel fear but not attack, feel threatened but choose to run instead of fight. His voice grew stronger. The incident with, yes, I failed, I let anger show, I let threat response activate, but I also chose to leave, chose to remove danger, chose safety over pride. This is growth. This is learning. This is what calls being human. They paused. Not human by biology, human by choice, by values, by heart. The room was completely silent. Even Elder seemed uncertain. Turn 2, you asked if I want to stay. Answer is yes. I want to stay with, she is my family. She chose me when I was least worthy. Now I choose her. I choose to stay, to learn, to grow, to become better than my biology says I must be. Was crying, openly, she didn't care. Continued looking back at the council. If you send me to facility, I will survive. This is what do. We survive, but I will not grow, I will not learn, I will become what you fear. Hard, cold, empty. But if you let me stay with, I will become what humans hope. Kind, connected, full of feeling and life and love. The cubs' plates were fully iridescent now, brilliant colors flowing across their entire body. So I asked counsel, what do you value more? Safety from who I might become, or hope for who I am becoming? Because you cannot have both. Choice must be made. Opened their mouth, closed it, looked at the other council members. One of the humanoid representatives, a woman with green skin, spoke. I vote for human custody. The juvenile has shown remarkable insight and growth. I see no reason to imprison potential. The second humanoid, a man with silver hair, nodded. Agreed. Human custody with continued monitoring. The third member, a reptilian species, hesitated. I have concerns, but I also recognize growth, conditional approval, annual evaluations. Any sign of violence and the arrangement ends. Two more representatives joined the conditional approval. It was 4 votes. They needed 5 for majority. Had not voted. The ambassador sat in silence, studying with compound eyes. You believe you can choose peace over instinct? Asked directly. I believe I can try, said honestly. I believe I will fail sometimes, make mistakes, struggle, but I also believe will help me, teach me, catch me when I fall. This is what family does. Was quiet for a long moment. Then surprisingly they nodded. Conditional approval, human custody, but Dr. Han, understand, this child is your responsibility. Their successes and their failures, you carry both. I accept that, said immediately, gladly. Then it is decided, announced. The juvenile designated will remain in human custody under Dr. Han's guardianship. Annual psychological evaluations mandatory. Social integration monitoring required. At age of majority, the juvenile must consent to permanent status. These are the terms. Pulled into a hug. The cub wrapped all 4 arms around her. Their plates glowed brilliant iridescent. Captain smiled, wiped her eyes. Even some of the council members looked moved. Only Elder remained cold. The juvenile is no longer, make sure they know this. They are other now, outside, alone. Looked at the Elder's hologram. I am not alone. I have family, I have pack. I have more than ever gave me, so I accept this exile, gladly. The hologram cut out. The hearing ended, and left the conference room together. In the hallway, Bora was waiting with her parents. When she saw, she squealed and ran forward. You're staying. Plates exploded into full iridescent display. Rainbow shimmer across every surface. They made that chirping sound, the one that meant joy. I am staying. Bora hugged them tightly. Good, because you still have to teach me those geometric patterns, you promised. I promised, agreed. They looked it over Bora's head. Is this, happy, am I feeling correctly? Laughed through tears. Yeah, kiddo, you're feeling perfectly. 6 months later, the station received a message. Another juvenile needed placement. A survivor from a different incident. Would Dr. Han consider? Stood in her office reading the message. Sat nearby working on homework. They were fully integrated into station school now. Their armor stayed mostly pale with frequent iridescent flickers when they were happy or excited. They had grown, filled out, looked healthier, stronger, more alive. Said slowly, There's another child, they need help, they need a home. Looked up from their work. Their plates shifted through colors, processing, thinking. Another one like me. Maybe said, probably scared, probably hurt, definitely alone. Was quiet for a moment. Then their plates glowed soft, iridescent. I could help, I could show them it is safe here, that feelings are permitted, that is kind, that humans are family. You sure? Asked. It would be a lot of work, a lot of patience. You showed patience with me, said simply. When I was broken, scared thing, you sat with me, spoke to me, showed me I was worthy. Now I show another. This is what family does, yes, we help each other. Felt her heart swell. Yeah, that's exactly what family does. She sent the reply. They would take the new juvenile, prepare quarters, start the process again. It would be hard, but worth it, always worth it. That evening and stood in the station's observation deck. The stars spread out before them, infinite and beautiful. Plates glowed softly iridescent in the darkness. Peaceful, content. Said quietly, earlier I said I was not fully human, something between. I remember. I think I was wrong. Looked at their reflection in the glass. Rainbow shimmer across armor. I am not between, I am both, and also neither, and also something new, something that did not exist before. Is this acceptable? Put her arm around shoulders. It's more than acceptable, it's perfect, you're perfect, exactly as you are. Even with damage, with feelings, with weakness. Especially with those things, said firmly. Those aren't weaknesses, they're what make you you. And I love you, all of you, every color, every feeling, every part. Leaned against her. I love you too, you are best human, best pack, best family. They stood together in comfortable silence. In the reflection, two figures, different species, different worlds, but family nonetheless. Bora's drawing had been right all along. They were best friends. They were pack. They were proof that connection transcends biology, that love changes everything, that healing is possible even for the most broken among us. Plates glowed steady, iridescent. Not cycling, not flickering, just steady rainbow light, peace, joy, home. And in that light, in that moment, everything was exactly as it should be.